Hello friends, here in this video lecture we will discuss about transport of gases, how gaseous transportation occurs in our body. Before this we already completed about the exchange of gases. In that video lecture we discussed there are two sites of gaseous exchange in our body. The primary site we discussed was inside the lungs, that is in between alveoli and blood, and the second site is just body cells and blood. So these are the sites where oxygen and carbon dioxide is getting exchanged. Now in this video lecture we will discuss how these gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, is getting transported in our body. So first, in higher organism, if we discuss about transportation of blood, like in human beings, so blood is functioning as a medium for transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. There are two components of blood that are responsible for this. So one is plasma and another one is RBCs. Inside RBC there is a respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin. So maximum part of oxygen and carbon dioxide is getting transported by blood, and this is RBC. While in lower organism like in unicellular there is direct gaseous exchange through their cytoplasm. Second, if the organism is lower and sluggish, that is slow movers, then their oxygen demand is very less, and hence this demand can be easily fulfilled by plasma. So oxygen that dissolve in plasma is sufficient for these less active organisms, while at the same time for higher organisms their oxygen demand is very high. Upside arrow means high, downside arrow means low. So here in active organism or in higher organism the demand of oxygen is very high, and this high amount of oxygen cannot be carried by plasma of blood. Why? Because plasma is mainly composed by water and oxygen is very poorly soluble in water. So oxygen cannot be carried by plasma. Hence these organisms have a special type of pigment that will help in transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. This pigment is known as respiratory pigment. They are present in body fluid or in blood for transportation. So next one is about respiratory pigment. These are the pigments which are involved in gaseous exchange, that is respiration. That's why they known as respiratory pigments. What are pigments? So pigments are the substances which will provide a specific color to particular structure, maybe cell organelles or cell. Here the first pigment is hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is the most important one. Hemoglobin, this simply denoted as Hb, and here this one is iron containing pigment. Here iron is present in form of ferrous, Fe+2, that is also very important, and this is red colored pigment found in all vertebrates, and here this pigment is present inside the red blood cells that also known as erythrocytes. This is oxygen and carbon dioxide carrier also in human beings that are also a type of vertebrates. Next, hemocyanin. So hemocyanin here is a copper containing bluish color pigment. This one is found in few mollusks, for example pila, and few arthropoda like for prawn. So these both examples are very important. Name the organism that have hemocyanin as a respiratory pigment. What is the color? Blue color. What is the metal ion? So this is copper. And what are the examples? So pila, that also known as apple snail from mollusca, and prawn from arthropoda. Now the next one is chlorofluorine. This is again iron containing but green in color. This one is found in polychaetes. So polychaetes are category related with phylum Annelida, and here example is sabella, that also known as peacock worm. Next, vanadium. So vanadium is already a metal denoted by V, and this one is green in color. This one is found in urochordates, that is under protochordates of phylum Chordata, and example is Herdmania. The next one is echinochrome. This one is again iron containing red colored pigment found in echinoderms, like for example sea urchin. So here all these respiratory pigments are very important, especially hemoglobin, hemocyanin and vanadium. These pigments along with their color and respective type of metals and what are their examples, the particular phylum name as well as the particular example, all these are very important. There are also few more, but that is not needed for you. Now here this is myoglobin, that is a very unique, this pigment found in muscles as given here. This is found in muscles of vertebrate. This is also iron containing red pigment, but this is not for transportation of oxygen. This is just for iron storage, this is just for oxygen storage. This is for storage of oxygen. This is not for oxygen transportation. Now, so what we discussed earlier about hemoglobin, so this is further given here. Hemoglobin, this is denoted as HB. Here all the time when there is prefix hem, this is about blood. This is about blood. So hemoglobin is a type of protein. Hemoglobin is a type of protein. So if we discuss about the nature of protein, there are simply two categories of protein: simple protein and conjugate protein. So simple proteins are those proteins which are made only by proteins, that is amino acids, and conjugate are those which are carrying also some non-proteinaceous part. So here conjugate proteins, this is made by protein plus non-protein part, that also known as prosthetic group. This also known as prosthetic group. This also known as prosthetic group. So what is protein part here in hemoglobin? So this is globin, that is protein part. What is non-protein part? So this is heme, that is iron. This is heme. Here this is given. Heme is a pigment part that is made by 4 iron atoms in a single hemoglobin. This point is again very important. In a single hemoglobin there are 4 atoms of iron, and each iron atom is capable to bind with one oxygen molecule. Each iron atom is capable to bind with one oxygen molecule. So here there are 4 iron atoms. That's why a single hemoglobin is capable to carry 4 oxygen molecules. 4 oxygen molecules, and this is simply denoted as Hb4O2. We will discuss how this is Hb4O2. Now second, that is protein part. This is protein part of hemoglobin, and this is known as globin. So globin is a globular protein. This is again on the basis of shape. Protein may be fibrous, protein may be globular. So this is globular, that is spherical protein. In case of adult person, this globin is made by 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain. 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain. Each alpha is carrying, or we can say made by 141 amino acids. As we know, proteins are made by amino acids. So each alpha carrying 141 amino acid, while each beta is made by 144 amino acids. So this information is also very important. Now that's why this is known as alpha 2 beta 2. alpha 2, beta 2. While in case of infants, if we discuss, so here there is 2 alpha, same as in case of adult, but here there is 2 gamma chain, and these gamma chains in the process of development is getting replaced by beta chain. So again, this information is very important. In case of infants, the globin protein of hemoglobin is made by 2 alpha and 2 gamma chain, while in adult this is made by 2 alpha and 2 beta chain. Each alpha chain carrying 141 amino acids, while each beta chain carrying 144 amino acids. Now one more thing that is very important given here. So hemoglobin is a type of protein. Earlier we discussed this is conjugate protein. So here all these what is given here, all these are actually conjugate chromoprotein. So what are chromoprotein? Chromo for color, that have the protein that have a specific color. So all they have a specific color. Here you can see all they are carrying a specific color. Now conjugate, so conjugate are those which are made by protein and non-protein. So here all they are carrying metal ions, that is non-protein part or prosthetic group. Now about the structure of protein. So proteins are of 4 types on the basis of structure: primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary. All these informations are given in chapter biomolecules of class 11th. So here protein, this is hemoglobin, is a type of quaternary structure. Hemoglobin is a quaternary type of protein. So these two informations again, hemoglobin is quaternary in structure, that is carrying 2 alpha and 2 beta chain. There is iron pigment, this is red in color, and hemoglobin is also a conjugate protein. In each hemoglobin there are 4 iron atom. Each iron atom is capable to carry 1 oxygen molecule. So one hemoglobin is capable to carry 4 oxygen molecules. Now a very brief about gaseous exchange in body. So here this is respiratory organ, that is lungs, and inside the lungs these are alveoli that are considered as miniature lung or functional unit of lung. From lungs, oxygenated air supplies to tissues or body cells, and here inside the tissue or body cells there will be breakdown of food or oxidation of food. That's why there will be release of carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is getting transported back to the lungs with the help of blood. So earlier we discussed this is plasma as well as RBCs which are present inside the blood, and they are helpful for transportation of oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. Now here this is hemoglobin. This hemoglobin binded with oxygen to form HbO2, that is oxyhemoglobin, or this can also be written like Hb plus 4O2. That's why HbO2 4. We discussed 4 molecules of oxygen is capable to bind with hemoglobin. Because of 4 iron atom, this also considered as Hb4O8. So Hb4O8 or HbO2 or simply HbO2. All these are oxyhemoglobin. Now in general there are 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin in per 100 ml of blood. In case of male the value is comparatively closer to 16, while in case of female this is comparatively closer to 12. So for female we can say this is 12 to 14. For male we can say 14 to 16, and if the hemoglobin level decreases with respect to this, then the person is considered as anemic. Means anemia is a disease that is because of hemoglobin deficiency. Hemoglobin is present inside the RBC, so we may also indirectly say about RBC deficiency. Now in general 15 gram hemoglobin is considered in case of human body. So 1 gram hemoglobin, this is capable to carry 1.34 ml oxygen, and here this is 15 gram. As we discussed, normally there are roughly 15 gram hemoglobin in per 100 ml of blood. So 15 gram multiplied by 1.34, this will be roughly 20 ml, or exactly this is 19.4 ml oxygen that is carried by 100 ml of blood. So when we discuss during normal situations or in resting condition, this 100 ml blood will deliver only 5 milliliter of oxygen to the cells or tissues, while 15 ml of oxygen is again reverted back from the site, that is tissue or cells. And if the condition is strenuous, like a particular person is involved in huge physical activities, at that time there is huge demand of oxygen. Why? Because there is huge demand of energy, and energy comes only after oxidation of food, and for oxidation of food there is need of oxygen. So there will be delivery of 15 ml oxygen to the cells. Now this time only 5 ml oxygen will be present in blood, and this will be reverted back up to alveoli, where this again getting filled, or you can say this is loaded again with the oxygen. So association of oxygen with blood or with hemoglobin, you can say this is loading of oxygen, and this occurs at the site of alveoli or lungs. While when this reaches up to body cells, then there will be release of oxygen from hemoglobin or blood because of some situations. We will discuss later about that one. So this is known as unloading of oxygen. Hemoglobin, oxygen dissociated, and oxygen is taken by the cells. Now here this is about oxygen and carbon dioxide transportation. So total oxygen, if we consider as 100%, so out of this 100%, 97% oxygen is carried by red blood cells with hemoglobin, and this is in form of oxyhemoglobin, as we discuss here, HbO2 or HbO2/4, while the remaining 3% is transported in form of plasma, that is in physical solution form, or we can say in dissolved form. While for carbon dioxide, 70% of carbon dioxide is transported by RBCs in form of bicarbonate ion, HCO3 minus. So water and carbon dioxide, this will react to form carbonic acid because of an enzyme, that is carbonic anhydrase, which is present here inside the RBCs. We also discuss about this later. So there will be formation of bicarbonic acid, H2CO3. This is here H2O plus CO2. In presence of enzyme, there is formation of H2CO3. Reverse reaction is highly reversible. So this will dissociate into H ion plus HCO3 minus ion. So this is carbonic acid, this is bicarbonate ion. So 70% of carbon dioxide is getting transported in form of bicarbonate ion, while 20 to 25%, we can say 23% roughly, is transported by RBCs along with their hemoglobin, and this will form carbaminohemoglobin. Why carbaminohemoglobin? Because here the carbon dioxide is getting associated with amino group of globin protein. Here we discuss oxygen is getting associated with iron element of hemoglobin, but carbon dioxide binded with amino group of hemoglobin. So this is carbaminohemoglobin, while only 7% of carbon dioxide is getting transported in physical solution form, that is in dissolved form, by plasma. So this is how gaseous transportation occurs in our body. This split up is very important, and many time questions given from this particular part. This calculation is also very important, so you have to go through very properly. So this is all for this video. If you like this, then please subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon and also share with your friends. Thanks again.